This time the Quick Speed Shop, check it out. I pulled all the 70 stops out. I got my grill done. I got my bumper on. I got my fog lights. I got a vintage plate. This thing is right out of 1977 now. Get your 8 tracks ready to play. Grab a patch blue ribbon. We're heading to the 70s right now. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Alright, welcome back here at the Quick Speed Shop. I'm working on my boogie van, and I got something cool today. It's a throwback for me, and I'm going to show you what it is here in a second. If you're familiar with old hot rods from the 40s, 50s, they had things called blue dots that went in the taillights. These are a little glass jewel that you put in your taillight, and when you step on the brake light, they turn the light like purplish color. And usually you don't see them in like 70s and 80s Ford vans like this, but I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do it. So I got the tail light out of the van. This is a practice tail light. You can see it's broken here on the reflector. This is actually the one that was in the tail light, or in the van originally, but it's broken here, so I want to test it out on this lens first before I do it on the good tail lights I have. But back in the 80s, my dad worked for Xerox, and he had full-size vans. He did a copying repair, and he had the full-size vans to haul the parts around. And he started off, I think, in the early 80s with a full-size Chevy van, like an 83 or so. I'm trying to remember, I was a little kid. But it was like a grayish-green van, and it was a full-size Chevy. And then he went to a Ford, and I think he had 2 Fords. I think there was like a brown one, and then after that there was like a maroon one, or a reddish one with metallic in it, in about 1986-ish. And anyways, when he went to the Fords, he drilled his taillights and he put blue dots in them. And I remember this being a little kid. I remember when he got the red Ford, he took the taillights out of the other Ford van and he swapped them over, so he kept his blue dots in the taillights. So he had the blue dot taillights there. So I want to do that as a nod to my dad from when he used to have his old 80s Xerox vans. And it's cool to have the blue dots. So that's what we're going to do today. Start off today with that. And I got to drill a hole. It's got to be about 920 thousandths. The biggest drill bit I got is about 820, but it ain't walking. I'll have to file them by hand to get down there. But right here in the optics, you can kind of see in the optics, there's a part there, and it's got a rectangle on the outside. I'm going to drill the center of this rectangle, or square, I guess it is, a square, and a blue dot is going to fit right in the center of that. And that is right where the lamp is, so it'll really shine up purpley when you hit the brake lights. So I'm going to do that. Ooh, easy now. Alright. Drill my starter hole. It's pretty close to being centered. Now, I need to sneak up on it. I think I can get up to 1/2 inch with a step bit. Might try to do that. Let me... I got to get it up a little bit so I can get the step bit in it. Okay. We're getting there. Now this is the scary part. I don't have any other. That's up to 1/2 inch. I got this great big drill bit here. Let's try this. I don't know how this is going to work. It might be a bad idea, but we'll see what happens. Whoa! Easy now. Could have been bad. Got some bits in the light. That should be up to about 820 or so. No, it's 9. No, it's 8. Yeah, 815. So I think I'm going to have to file this by hand the rest of the way. I've got a ways to go, but that's the biggest drill bit I got. Wonder, I've got this boring Got this boring cutter. I wonder if I could do it with this. This is like a countersink for countersinking. Actually, how big is this one? Not big enough. Let me try to bump her out a little bit with this. It's about 920 right there. That should be close. Now I just got to get a hand file, a little round file, and just file this. To file it till I get rid of that tapered edge I just machined in there. Is it doing it? Oh yeah. This is going to take a couple minutes. Let me file her on out, then I'll fit the blue dot up. Okay, I think I got it here. I got it sanded out or filed out with a round file. Here's the moment of truth to fit this in. Don't want it too loose. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Now how this holds in here, there's little metal tabs, and you go in there and you bend them over and it holds it to the lens. And it doesn't need to be watertight. This lens has some drains in the bottom, so any moisture that could leak down would just run out the bottom of this, so it should be fine. Or you could put a tiny little bit of clear silicone around it. I guess that wouldn't hurt either. I bought these from Speedway. They're the glass ones. They're $10 a pair. Real cheap, but they're the original style glass ones, so they should work good. Bam, check it out. Installed. I don't have a battery or the brake lights hooked up yet, so I can't show you how they work. But there is the blue dots installed in the taillights. I just swapped them out with the stock taillights that were in the van. So this will should be super cool. Add to the 70s flair and nod back to the 50s hot rod. And I'll get to think of my dad every time I see the blue dot taillights and think of the old Xerox vans back in the 80s that he used to run around in, just like this van. Here's something exciting I did up front here. Off camera, I went and I cleaned up the bucket seats for the van. These are, where are they from? Goshen Cushion Company out of Goshen, Indiana. Those are the original 76 pedestals they're on. I've swapped them over to the 86 pedestals that came out of the motorhome. Last time, if you saw in the video, I went and I installed the front seats and I set these up, and I also set up the table mount for the little Formica table that goes through in the center of the seats, and they all swivel and they make 4 of them like a little booth setup. But I've cleaned these up. At the car club, a guy came in to get a demonstration. I used Ardex New Wave all-purpose cleaner on the vinyl. Then I hit it with some Ardex details, detail spray or whatever. I'm not a big guy in cleaning the stuff for detailing or having interiors in cars. But these cleaned up mint. They were like super dirty and trashed, and look how shiny and smooth the vinyl is now. It's like brand new. These seats hardly had any wear on them. They got tiny little bit of damage. The cloth, I tried using some of this Turtle Wax carpet cleaner on it and foamed it down and scrubbed it. I got a little bit of the grunge out of there. I don't know if this is supposed to be bright white originally, or if it's supposed to be off like that. Maybe if we looked in here, we could tell. It looks like it's pretty much the same color, so those seats are pretty nice. But they look mint, and the benches that go in the back, when I clean them up, are going to be just as nice. Like nobody hardly ever sat on them. So this is going to be really cool in the van. You can see here the difference on the driver's seat and the passenger seat. They're still pretty grungy. They got like 30 years of dirt on them from where they were stored in a house a while ago. But when I get these back out, I'll clean these up. I have some green vinyl I think I can get to match this. I think I'm going to have my buddy help me sew up a seat cover and make a bottom just solid vinyl cover for the bottom of this where it's all torn up where I'll sit. But the rest of the seats will be, the original condition. But these should clean up nice just like those. This, obviously the driver's seat's the worst one because it gets the most amount of wear. And I also mounted the Formica table mount in the floor, drilled a 2 1/4 inch hole, and sank that thing right down on the floor. So now the little table there will set up. So I'm just trying to figure out where I got to put the brackets for the seats and get them mounted in here. then all 4 brackets will be done. I'm almost ready to turn the van around and get working on the back. I've got some rust holes, and then we can get the exhaust built and do some other things. So that'll be pretty exciting. Okay, I moved back up to the front of the van. I've got the valance panel here ready to paint. I did a little bit off-camera work here. I did a little bit of trimming and welding in the corners, and I had to take a pie slice out of this side and shorten it up a little bit. But most of it fit pretty good, so I'm ready to paint. I bought some color match medium gray metallic for this van from Scratch Wizard online. It was pretty pricey. It comes with base coat and clear coat. It was like $50 for these 2 cans. So I hope it comes out right, because it's an awful lot of money to spend on a can of paint. So anyways, we're going to mix this up. We're going to rattle can it on here. You put the base coat on first with a rattle coat. Get a couple of coats of coverage of the base and let it set, then put the clear coat on. I've never done this stuff before with this like this. I bought some paint for my green truck, and I tried it, and it was a single all mixed up in one can, and it came out real bad. It was real cloudy, didn't look anywhere near as good. So I'm hoping this works out better with a clear coat. We're going to see. I've been shaking this up for a while. It's like room temperature in here, and I guess I'm just going to have at it and try it. So let me try fogging on here in a little spot. First I should start this off. Okay. Actually, that looks pretty much like the color of the van. So here we go. I'm going to keep going. It's a little chilly in here, so I'm going to try to fog it on lightly. It's also metallic, which doesn't help. But I say it doesn't look too bad. That looks about the color of the van. I'm sure it's not going to match perfect because the van is old and faded, but it doesn't look too bad. Well, crap here. I had a little bit of a failure. Something happened with the lid, the nozzle. When I spray it, it was blowing out paint out everywhere. It pretty much almost emptied the can. I barely got enough paint on here. I got some splashes that ruined the finish here and there. I got, I think, enough color on there, like a couple of coats, but it was like spraying out horrendously. I don't know what happened. I had to like hold this box up under here and like let the paint run into the box. I got it all over the floor, got it all over my hands. I don't know. So I spent $50 on paint, and probably freaking $20 of it ended up on the floor in like 3 coats. I don't know what the heck happened to this stupid thing. I tried different nozzles. It's something in the guts when I squeeze this together has failed and pretty much emptied my whole can of paint on me. So I got enough on here. It's a little thin. I might have to try to dust the top of this, but I don't want to ruin the front. The front looks halfway decent. Yeah, it pretty much sucked, and I don't like how it came out there, but I'm gonna have to live with it for now. Maybe I can get some paint from a different manufacturer. I can't believe this happened, but I'm gonna have to live with it for now because I got to get this thing on the van, and it's not completely horrendous. It's just not very good. So haven't had good luck with the color match paint in a can. I haven't had good luck with it. So I like just like Rust-Oleum, flat black or white. Just freaking go to the store and get another can and paint it, and it costs a couple of bucks a can. So I'm gonna let this dry, I guess, and then we'll shoot the clear on it here. The clear appears to have some kind of different nozzle. Maybe the clear will work better. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Well, this went from bad to worse. I flipped the thing upside down to get some more color on these bottom surfaces, which I couldn't get because I had to hold the can perfectly vertical or it spit. And I splashed some off the can. It accumulated in here and it blew everywhere. I put a bunch of runs on the front of this, and I went to wipe them off. It took it down to the primer, and now I've got nasty run marks I took the runs out, but you can see every single one of them. And then there's a big splash down here under the marker light on the driver's side. It's absolutely terrible. really upset with that stupid can freaking leaking like that. You know, I spent $54 and change on this, and it actually, you know, this color, if the can hadn't failed, it would have been fine. But you know, it looks like a 3-year-old painted it. It's terrible. Whatever. I got to move on. The rest of the van's not perfect, so whatever. So I'm gonna try the clear on it now. Let's see if this can go on without freaking screwing up. So I'm gonna blast it up here first out of the way and see what it looks like. And I guess it's all right. So I'm just gonna lay the clear on it. And I put a couple of coats of clear on it here, and I guess that's going to be what it is. You know, at least it's a small piece. You won't really see a bunch of it on there. Okay, here we go. It's the next day. The paint's dry. The clear is dry. And aside from my stupid runs for that stupid spray can that I wiped off that you can still see, it came out pretty decent. It matches close enough. The van is pretty faded and grungy, but it's close enough for what we're doing. So when this goes down in here, you know, in the van, those runs are going to be pretty low, and it's going to get bugs and crap on it. I'm not good at washing cars, so this will be all bugged up and, you know, chipped up and stuff. So I guess it's good enough for what I'm doing, I guess. But I was really disappointed with that can. $54 down the drain. Thanks a lot. Anyways, let's go ahead and I put my turn signals in. These are for the van. These are also 76 to 77 Ford truck marker lights. They're the same thing, I believe. And the tail lights are the same as the 73 to 79 Ford. So I put new turn signal lamps in my bulb, in my or two turn signal bulbs in my sockets here. So I'm going to clip them in, because it's a little tight here. I got my wires there. Let's try to get this into place without scratching the crap out of it. Right, what is going on here? Bit of interference with the battery tray bracket over here. It's hitting the light. I'm gonna have to take this back out and trim that bracket off a little bit so this light will fit flushly in here before I mangle this thing. But you can see it's close enough to what I'm doing here, the color wise and stuff. It looks like it's supposed to be on here. Took the sawzall and I cut a little piece off the bottom of the bracket in there that was in the way. Got the turn signals in. Got the piece bolted on, screwed on, and it doesn't fit the best because it's aftermarket. I did a lot of trimming to make these ends fit, and it's as close as it's going to get. The gray is off quite a bit from the fenders, but luckily it's down here low where, you know, you're not going to see much of it. It's the best I can do for what I'm doing, rattle can action here. So I've gone ahead and I've thrown the grill in. I went and I got one of my other grills that I had from the junkyard. This one is straight on top. The original grill I've been mocking this up with, the van was wrecked and it had a bunch of warps in the plastic. This grill is in nicer shape that way, but it's got a bunch of cracks. There's a crack down here, and there's a crack up here, and another crack, I think, down here somewhere. So I've got to get some 2-part epoxy, and on the back side I can just sand the paint off and use a little file and, you know, rough up the plastic, and I'm going to epoxy the back side of this grill. But it'll clean up nice. This crack will disappear. I'll probably touch up the paint on it eventually. I'm ready now. I can put the front bumper back on it. Now they got the valance bolted in there. That'll bolt on. You notice these holes down here and this in the core support. These are only used if you had a van that had a factory air conditioning and external transmission cooler, like on the E350 box trucks and stuff. And like the ambulances, they would put it, there's a bracket that bolted here that went up behind the grill that held all that stuff. There's a couple of screws in the grill that attached to those. Obviously, this grill's got them, so this came out of a box truck. Actually, this came out of a bus, which, same thing. Cabin chassis, so that's why it's got the extra screws that are used here, which won't be being used in this van. I also went up on top to mount this grill. They usually have these little plastic buttons. You push them down, and you push these tops down. You leave the white part sticking up so you can grab them with the pliers. I went ahead and I used my nut cert gun. I put some nut certs in the holes, and I got stainless steel quarter 20 bolts. I can actually bolt the grill down with the quarter 20s. Do it that way. That way it's a little bit easier for me to remove it. Plus it'll be a little stainless to be fine. So let's set the hood down and take a look at what it looks like now. Man, that looks awesome. Right, this thing has been officially backdated to 1977-ish, 75 to 78. It's been backdated fully. Looks awesome. And I'm happy with it. So I'm going to throw the bumper on and keep working away. I love my old style round headlight grille now. I like the valance panel, even though once again the paint's ruined. Whatever. I'm getting over it. I'm getting over it. Trust me, I'll be over it by the end of the video. So the bumper's outside. I'll grab that real fast. We'll throw that on there, and we'll get a final look at the front end, officially backdated, and then we'll finish out the video. Well, check this out. I went and pulled all the 8 tracks out of the box and threw them on here. Bam, 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 and bam. Got the front bumper mounted up. This is actually the bumper off the motorhome chassis because it was in a little bit better shape, scratch and ding wise. The chrome is a little faded out here and there, a little cloudy, but I took some wax and I waxed it up shiny and bolted it up on here. It looks good. It fits nice now. I raised it up to about flush with these lights. And then straightened it out. And it looks really good. It's gapped out nice. I'm going to run these yellow fog lights. I just got them down here just chilling in the hole on the bottom of the bumper. But they'll be part of the vintage look. The license plate, that's off my dad's 72 Chevy step side that he had from the mid-70s till 1987. He had those on there, so I threw one on there so I can look like him back in the day. So this is super mint. This is what the front of the van's going to look like. I am going to make a custom air dam down here that's going to house the fog lights. They have fiberglass ones you can buy. I got to look into those. I forget how much just the one without the fender flares, because a lot of them come out and they wrap around in the fender flare kits. I'm not going to run flares on this van right now because my wheels are not wide enough. If I put the flares on, then I'd have to run wheel spacers or get different wheels. And I'm not going to do that right now. Plus it's like $500 for the kit. But I do want an air dam down here on the front to hang down about to the bottom of the lights. I'll probably end up making one out of some like electrical conduit, bend it around, then have it mount up here, then skin it with sheet metal and paint it black, and have the fog lights down here so the air dam will be down about here to lower the front of the van quite a bit. So I'm gonna be doing that soon. But this is a really clean look I wanted on the front there. You always see all the vans back in the day got the yellow fog lights on there. Now I've got the the round headlight grille. Got everything cleaned up nice, and from the front this van looks exactly identical to any other 75 to 78 van. So that's what I was going for on the front. Looks mint. And yeah, I'm really happy with this and the blue dots and the other end of the seats in there. So I'm going to keep working on the Boogie van. Come back next time. I'm not sure what I'm going to be working on, but it'll be something on here. Appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you right here again. Bam, from the 70s at the Quick Speed Shop.